Hi, friends. Welcome to the Writing Bell with SBH. I'm Shawnette Bell Hendricks, and I'm writing my first book, and I'd love for you to come along. On this journey, we are going to learn all about writing, outlining, creating habits to help us get our books finished and then published. I'd like to start off with some questions that a writing group that I've created here in Northern California has gotten for me. Just a few questions from some of my fellow writers. We do like to get together once a month and share our ideas, our progress, and I thought that we should take this to the next level and share some of the journey with the world. Don't wait 20 years like I did to start your first novel. I always had an excuse as to why I couldn't start, and all of those excuses have been exhausted. First, my kids, then my work, and so kids are grown, I still work, but I'm basically living that empty nest life. And so I am going to finally pursue my own passions and try to fill some of that time that I used to give to others. And I'm going to use that time for myself and pursue my passion of writing, creative writing. So here are just a few community questions. But before we begin the questions, I just want you to grab a pen and a pad or a writing device if you use your laptop, whatever you use. At the end of this video, we are going to take a couple of minutes and do some actual writing, because to finish a book, we actually need to write the book. And in order to write the book, we actually have to start writing. So I am here to help you get started, and hopefully together we will finish. So let's go. First question was, what was your favorite book to read growing up? And my favorite book to read, well, I actually didn't have a favorite book per se, but I did love poems as a kid. And there was a book called Falling Up. And actually it was like a series of books. It was Falling Up, A Light in the Attic, and Where the Sidewalk Ends. I loved those books. Shel Silverstein was the author's name, I believe. So, yeah. Question 2, what's your favorite season and why? Summer, baby, summer. I'm a summer baby. I love the hot weather. I love summer nights. I just love the summertime. I don't do too well in the cold. Question 3, what is your all-time favorite book? Well, I would have to say I have a couple of book series that I really enjoyed. The first one was the Sookie Stackhouse series. Yeah, I loved me some Sookie. And I also really enjoyed the Twilight series. I did read that one maybe, some of the books I read at least, so I read the whole series at least 4 times, but I believe I read Twilight and Breaking Dawn 6 times. Anyhow, yes, I also watched the movie Twilight every day for a month straight. So my husband was happy when that phase was over. Next question. Any relationship advice for the ladies? Yes, ladies. I would say don't depend on your partner making you happy. You have to find happiness, of course, but when you depend on someone else to make you happy, that tends to be a good way to get disappointed. So try to find happiness in the little things you do every day. If you can't find joy in the little things, it's going to be hard to find joy in anything. So yeah, work on finding happiness in the little things and don't depend on your partner to do that for you. Next question. Growing up, what was your favorite pastime? So I was really big on amusement parks. I used to love to go to Great America, Six Flags. At one point we called it Marine World Africa USA, but now it is Discovery Kingdom. A lot of things have changed. I haven't been there in a while, but yes, I used to have season passes every year for either of those parks. And also I used to love to go to the mall with my friends and walk around and see who I can see and eat Cinnabon. And yeah, those were the days. Who inspired you to write and want to start this journey? Well, as far as being inspired to write, I remember as a very young child, my grandmother, my father's mother, she used to write poems and short stories, and she would draw, and she was very artsy, and I really think I got it from her, or whoever she got it from. It just one of those genes that got passed down where we are, creatives at heart. I have a lot of creatives in my family. I wish I was a musician like some of them, but I am not. Anyhow, R.I.P. Grandma. Have you always enjoyed literature, especially as a kid? Yes, I did. I loved poetry from a very young age, and I loved for someone to read me a story. I love story time. Yes. If you could give your younger self advice, what would it be? Younger self, I'd say learn as much as you can about writing now, and don't wait to start writing your stories. Don't wait to share your ideas with people, because you just never know what others can get out of what you have to say. So be real, start early, don't wait. Just get started. That's the main thing. Get started early. You won't regret starting early, I guarantee. Next question. What is your end goal? Well, obviously a published book, for one. I'd like to earn a living as a writer, for two. And eventually I would like to coach others on writing as a full-time job or hobby. I don't know. But I do want to write my love stories, write whatever I can write, and entertain people and feel fulfilled. Yeah. Where did you grow up and how did that shape you? So I grew up in Northern California. I still live here. And the way it shaped me, I'd say I'm very laid back. I got that go with the flow kind of, vibe going on. And I can't do snow. 3 days of snow, I'm done. We don't do snow. Next question. How long have you been married? And if over 10 years, what's your secret? Well, let's see. We got together in 1994. We got married in 2004. We're still together. I'm not great at the math. And depending on when you want to start counting, it's, 20 plus, 30 plus years. We eloped, and now I'd like to get remarried and do the whole, wedding and reception and the white dress and all that stuff. I'm trying to do that next year, but my husband is saying, oh, we might not be able to, but we'll see. To answer your question, basically, one person has to always be fighting for the relationship. Like, there were times where I just wasn't into him anymore, but he would not let me leave. And I don't mean like he held me a hostage or captive or anything. No. He just didn't say, okay, forget it. You want to leave, then leave. He would always find a way to pull at my heartstrings where we can work it out. Now, mind you, I was never in an abusive relationship, physically abusive. Well, I could say he did put me through some emotional stuff, but if you're not in an abusive relationship and don't need to get out, then I do suggest someone can probably stay in a relationship if they think that it is worth staying in and fighting for. And if there's always someone fighting for the relationship, chances are that relationship is going to last. But honesty, communication, things like that goes a long way. It really does. If you can't be honest with your partner, then that's going to be a tough relationship to save. 2 more. Besides writing, do you have any other creative outlets? Yes, I do like to paint. I used to go to paint night a lot before COVID hit. I actually had a paint night on the books that I never went to, and years have passed and I never did get my money back. Anyhow, they've changed it to something else now, and I don't even want to pursue the, $40, $50 because it would probably cause me more stress and turmoil than it's worth trying to recover that paint night money. I do have some paintings that I did that I'll share with you. I'll share those with you. And maybe I'll even hang them up somewhere in here. Last question. How many siblings do you have and where do you fall in? Well, I am the oldest of 5, and I have 4 brothers, bigger brothers, but younger, and lots of nieces, nephews, and a couple of daughters. But yes, I'm the oldest of 4 boys. I'm the oldest of 5 children. 4 of them are boys. They're all younger than me, but bigger than me. So that is that. Now, it's time for us to do a little bit of what we're here for at the Writing Bell, and that is write. So, I want you to ask yourself a question before we begin our 5 minutes of writing. I want you to ask yourself, what does your life look like in 1 year from now? Are you still thinking about writing, or did you start your journey with me today and just start writing? we're going to get closer to our goals. We're going to learn some basic habits, and we are going to motivate each other, hold each other accountable, and we are going to support each other through the entire journey of our first self-published book. So grab that piece of paper and pen, or your laptop, or whatever writing device you'd like to write on. And for the next few minutes, let's just start getting down some ideas. First of all, what we could do is just brainstorm what you would write about. So take the next 5 minutes and just, no matter what comes to mind, I want you to write it down, as far as thinking about what kind of topics interest you the most. What do you think you can talk about forever, if you had the chance? And we're just going to start there. And so if you are ready, we're going to just get started and take a couple of minutes to start writing. Right now, I am working on my first novel. I actually am not in the very, very beginning stages, but I wanted to start this YouTube channel while I was nearly in the beginning stages. But I am a few steps into the process. I have hired a professional developmental editor. Shout out to TJB. And I've, like I said earlier, started a writing community. So we are on our 0 draft right now, and we'll get into drafts and the actual writing process in another video. But right now, let's just go ahead and take a minute or two to just write. And what I'm going to do is I am going to set my alarm. And we are literally just going to do about 3 minutes of writing. You just never know what you can get done in a short amount of time. So don't worry about what you write. Just whatever comes to mind, I want you to start writing it down so that we can explore a little more in details. If you have any questions for me, please ask me any questions. Actually, I have a question for you. What genre would you be interested in starting your first novel in? So why don't we do a genre exploration for the next couple of minutes? You ready? All right, let's go. And while you're doing that, I am going to be working on my manuscript. So